Good morning, class. Let's continue with our subject, uh, hermeneutics. Last time we have discussed about the Hebrew idioms, and today we will go to the next one, number G, that is Hebrew poetry. Okay, Hebrew poetry. Before we go to Hebrew poetry, let's see what is poetry or a definition of poetry. Okay, poetry is a means of expression for some of the deepest and highest thoughts and feelings of the human heart. Okay, that is the simple definition of poetry. Okay, it means to express for some of the deepest and the highest thoughts and feelings of the human heart. Now, when you express your deepest thoughts, normally people start to sing a song, and when you sing a song, you put all your heart, you put all the expression you want to express it in the poetical form. Okay, the language is very high, the language is very it will come with a figurative language or the stylist form, and so all this mixed together and you express your heart. So song is also a poem. Okay, so that we express our deepest and highest thoughts, okay, or the feelings that we have in our heart. Okay, that is why people, when they listen to song, they cry and they were so emotional because it is the expression of heart. Okay, that is a simple definition for a poetry. It is a literary form, okay, and in English is marked by a definite structure of lines that have rhythms and often rhyme also. Okay, so in the English it is marked by a definite structure of line. Number one is by rhythm. Rhythm is a related one, or a related flow. Okay, we call it rhythm. That unify together. Okay, that is called rhythm. And often rhyme. Rhyme is a thought expressed in verse. Okay, a thought that is expressed in verse. Okay, that we call it rhyme. So the English poetry is marked by these two, rhythm and rhyme. Okay, its language is usually beautiful and elevated. Okay, that is the English poetry. Okay, now let's go to the book of poetry in the Bible. Books of poetry in the Bible. Okay, the Bible contains a great deal of poetry, not only Psalms and Proverbs, but also Job, Song of Solomon, Lamentation, and large parts of the prophets like Isaiah. Okay, we have the in the poetical form, not all the passages, but in some part. Okay, and as we go reading in the Paul's letter, we see in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 is also a poetical form. Okay, it describes about love. We will see some of the features of the poetry. Okay, parallelism. The main features of Hebrew poetry is a rhythm of thought. Okay, is a rhythm of thought rather than of sound, called parallelism. Now, the main feature or the main, the structure of the Hebrew poetry is a rhythm. Okay, is a rhythm. It's a flow that unify together of thoughts rather than sound. In English, it goes by sound. Most of the time, the English poetry goes by sound. But in Hebrew, it is by parallelism. Okay, parallelism. Parallelism means two lines goes together like this. Okay, parallelism. Okay, this simply means, or this means that the poetry is written in couplets. The poetry is written in couplets. What is couplets? couplets, the two line, a couple, okay, that couple together, that two goes together, okay, that we call it couplets. Two lines that are related to each other in some, okay, but occasionally there are three lines in some poetry, like Isaiah 41 verse 5. We will see three lines there, or sometimes four. It is there in Psalms 27 verse 1. Then, but occasionally two. Okay, Psalms 51 2. You see there two lines goes together. Now, the relation of the two lines to each other is not always the same. In fact, there are different relationships. So we can speak of different kinds of parallelisms and different basic ideas. Each of these has its proper name. Now, these two lines together, sometimes these two lines do not agree with each other. But this line confirmed this line and this line confirmed this line. But in some way they were related, but the meaning sometimes goes different. Okay, so the parallels in the Hebrews poetry has so many variation, and we are going to see them one by one. At least 7 of them are there in your notes. Okay, so we will see what parallelism, how does this parallelism goes together, and how do we interpret all these parallelism. Okay, number one, we see repetition. Okay, repetition is expressed by identical or synonymous parallelism. Okay, repetition is expressed by identical or synonymous, the same parallelism. Okay, the same parallelism. Now, the two lines express the same or similar thought in different words. See, parallel number 1, line 1 and line 2 express the same thing, but it expressed by different words. Okay, different words. The second line repeats the same thoughts for the clarity or emphasis. One line often throws light to the other one. Now, the second line makes clearer to the first line. Okay, but the meaning is same, but it expressed in different words. Okay, so that the first line will be clearer in the second line. Okay, let's take an example here. Let's turn to Isaiah 1:3. Isaiah 1:3. Okay, I'm reading for you. Isaiah 1:3. Isaiah 1:3. You see the first line. You see there, the ox knows its owner, and the donkey its master crib. Okay, the ox knows its owner, and the donkey its master's crib. But see the second line, but Israel does not know, my people do not consider. Okay, my people do not consider. The ox knows the owner, or the animal knows the owner, but Israel do not know the owner, or the Israel do not know, my people do not consider, my people do not understand. So you see the first line and the second line express well. Okay, the second line expressed well. Okay, then we'll see one more example here. What is that? Okay, Psalms 32 and verse 2. 33 and verse 2. Okay, Psalms 33 and verse 2. Praise the Lord with the harp, making melody to him with an instrument of 10 strings. Okay, praise the Lord with the harp is the first line. Okay, praise the Lord with the harp is the first line. Making melody to him with an instrument of 10 strings. The harp is a 10 string here. Okay, we don't understand what harp is, and the second line express it is the instrument of 10 string. Okay, harp and the instrument of 10 strings. Okay, so the second line explained well. See the first line, praise the Lord with the harp. Okay, making melody to him, that is also praise the Lord with an instrument of 10 string. Okay, so the second line expressed well to the first line. So the Hebrew poetry always goes, most of the time it goes together like that. Okay, the first line will express and the second line will be make more clear. If that things happen, that we call it repetition. Okay, that we call it a parallelism of the sentence or the poem that goes repetition. Okay, it is not repeating the same words, but it is repeating the same meaning. Okay. Number two, contrast, and we understand what contrast is. Okay, we understand what contrast is. Contrast is expressed by antithetic parallelism. Okay, that do not that do not agree each other. Antithetic parallelism. Okay, that parallelism do not agree with one another. To make the truth more emphatic and forceful, the two lines express contrasting or even contradictory thoughts. Proverb has a great deal in this parallelism. Consider Proverb 15:1. Now, see, it is not contrasting to each other, but the first line and the second line is contrasted by the word but. Okay, but by doing this one, it brings more clearer or the meaning of the sentences. Okay, of the sentences. So when when the Hebrews poetry writes, it goes together like this. Sometimes the first one will the second one will make clearer to the first one, and here it is contrast. The first one is contrast by the second one, but by doing this one, you have the clear meaning of the sentences. Okay, let's turn to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. Okay, Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. Okay, here. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 1. A soft answer turn away wrath, but a harsh word stir up anger. See, two contradiction. A soft answer turn away wrath. Okay, a soft answer turn away wrath. When you speak politely, or when you speak with humility, even the angry man will come down. That's the meaning here. Okay, but a harsh words stir up anger. But if you speak rudely, even the calm man, even the normal man will become angry. Okay, it stir up anger. That's the meaning here. Now, why this contradiction? See, if you don't speak soft, that's the meaning. If you don't speak soft, and if you don't learn to speak the humility words, okay, you will always stir up anger. So choose which one. Either to choose the soft answer or the harsh words. Okay, the soft answer turns away wrath. When someone asks you with angriness, but you smile up and say with humility, okay, even that anger will come down. Okay, then it is a wording by the next line. It says, but the harsh words stir up anger. Okay, if you speak rudely, you are stirring up the angeriness of someone else. Okay, so by contrasting, the meaning is clear there, and then the weight of the sentence is it put more weight on the sentences. Okay, that is what contrast is. And number three, addition. Number three is addition. Okay, addition. Addition is expressed by synthetic parallelism. Addition is expressed by synthetic that comes together. Okay, synthetic parallelism. In this second line, adds something to the first, a complementary thoughts. Okay, here the first line and the second line expressed a complementary thoughts for the first line. For example, the first line says something, and the second line actually explain why it is said so in the first line, or the second line is explained with a clear meaning. Okay, the reason is there in the second line. First line says something, and why it said so, the reason is there in the second line. That we call it addition. Okay, that we call it addition. I don't know whether you understand, you are going along with my class, with my lecture or not. See, the first line is explained by the second line, or The second line give reason to the first line. Why it is said so in the first line is there in the second line. Let's take an example here. Psalms 9 and verse 10. Psalms 9 and verse 10. Let's check. Okay. Psalms 9 and verse 10. And those who know your name will put their trust in you. Okay, that is the first line. See, and those who know your name will put their trust in you. Okay, the psalmist is talking, telling God. Okay, and those who know your name will put their trust in you. First line. The second line explain why. Why these people will put their trust in God. Okay? See, the second line says, for you, Lord, has not forsaken those who seek you. Because you did not forsaken those who seek you, so they will put their trust in you. Okay, that's the meaning here. Now, the first line is well explained in the second line, or the second line gives reason to the first line. Okay, so that is a parallelism. That kind of parallelisms are called addition. Okay, addition. So Hebrew poetry, unless you understand the features of this poetry, it is hard for us to explain why it is said so like that. Okay, so first of all, we have seen the repetition. Second, we have the contrast, and third, we have addition. Okay, the next class we'll see expansion and transformation. Then we goes imagery and hyperbolic language. Okay, so we will see them one by one. As of now, we'll just wind up our class from here. Have a nice day. God bless you all.